Well, let's talk about Game 4 because Game 4 was astonishing in its own right. So Houston gets shut out in Game 3. Philadelphia gets shut out in Game 4. And Houston pitches a combined no-no. I mean, that's huge.
It is huge. And for those of you keeping track at home, that's only the second no-hitter thrown in World Series history. The other was Don Larson's perfect game. I believe it was 1959. And so it's a huge deal. And granted, like personally, I always discount, and maybe even the royal we discount the collective no-hitter, because you could trot out 9 pitchers and throw a no-hitter pretty easily, I feel like. Relatively easily.
It's much easier than throwing,
a complete game no-hitter.
Yeah, by yourself and throwing 150, 160 pitches in the process.
Right. Yeah. But at the same time, though, I do feel like it is impressive, in the World Series especially, because of the level of competition. I mean, this wasn't the Royals. This wasn't the A's.
The Tigers.
The Tigers. Yeah, it wasn't any of those guys. This is the Philadelphia Phillies who made it to the World Series and are incredibly hot right now. And then all of a sudden, they were ice cold for a night.
Yep. It's crazy, man. Because those guys, it was like the at-bats I saw against Houston in Game 3 made sense, but you could see the pitchers were battling, right? Everybody was in on the fight. I didn't get that same vibe from the Game 4 at-bats. And maybe it's just me, but the Game 4 at-bats just had a more pitiful feel to them than the Houston at-bats in Game 3 did.
Right. No, I absolutely agree with you 100%, because Nick Castellanos specifically late in the game, like he just kind of like fanned his bat at a couple pitches.
Right.
Right. Like it was not a competitive swing. It wasn't an aggressive swing. He just kind of fanned it out there at 3 balls out of the zone. They were sliders that broke out of the zone in a row. And each time it was just kind of, throwing his bat. And so I do feel like there was a lot of that though. In Game 3, and I don't know or Game 4, sorry, and I don't know.
Game 4.
I don't know why they come out flat. I don't know if the rain delay or the missed game on Monday messed anything up, right? Because they were supposed to play Game 3 on Monday night on Halloween, but they got rained out and ended up having to move that to Tuesday, and then Game 4 was Wednesday. And now that's why Thursday was supposed to be an off day. We're playing Game 5 tonight.
So I was talking to a Houston fan about this on Instagram, and my position remains firm, man. If you're a pro, you got to be able to hang in there with those delays and those postponements and things like that.
That's part of it.
It is part of it. I'll read you exactly what I said. I just said, like, these seemingly minor details, minor adjustments make all the difference. And that's what separates guys who are good in a groove versus guys who are just playing good. Right. And I don't want to say that. And I told him I don't think that summarizes the series versus, these guys are just playing good, or this group of guys is just playing good when they're in a groove. I don't think that's what's happening. I think that's what happens throughout the season. So we get to see evidence of that truth. But this is the fun part about baseball. It's these nuances. It's these difficulties, these unexplainable phenomena that are like wild. Like, why does one day pushing it around have that big a difference?
Yeah, and I think part of it has to do with pitching. You get pitchers, like you're able to shuffle around your pitching rotation a little bit more. I feel like Houston had a little bit more of an advantage going into the ALCS over the Yankees because of that. Right? Because the Yankees had to, like, their pitching rotation got messed up. But anyway, that's a whole thing that we talked about before.
Yeah.
But I do think it was interesting that the Phillies went with Noah Syndergaard tonight, though.
Yeah.
Because I felt like because they went with Nola last night in Game 4, I thought they could have gone with Wheeler in Game 5. Yeah. And it makes sense to me to do it because then you've got Suarez in Game 6.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't know. But Rob knows what he's doing. Clearly,
he does. Yeah, Philly Rob.
So it's hard to question him. It's hard to question him too much, even though It doesn't make sense to us. And we've said
Right.
that about Dusty Baker a million times. Like, he doesn't change the lineup ever. Guys get in a slump, doesn't matter. You still lead off, right?
Yeah,
He
and
did that
that's
with Jose
super old
Altuve.
school too, like super duper
Right.
old school.
Right.
I guess not super duper, but it's old school these days.
It's old school for sure.
So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's really interesting that they went with Syndergaard still to me, because I feel like you definitely don't want to go down 3-2. And if you have a chance to go up 3-2, and then you start Syndergaard in game 6.
Right.
And then you have
Because you got to go back to Houston.
Right, when you've got Ranger Suarez ready to go in game 7.
Yeah. And at this point, we're going to need a game 7. Like, it's incredibly possible.
I think we could get there. I don't know if we will. The Phillies have got some work to do tonight still. I think if the Phillies lose this one, I think it's done in 6. And that's not because they're going back to Houston. It's because of momentum. Because, Brig, we've seen to this point, home field has no bearing on this series. Absolutely not.
Brad, you're just going to die on that hill, aren't you?
I will.
Is that the one you've
Absolutely
chosen?
die on that hill. Yeah, so much. I even put it in my 3 takeaways last night after the game. I said the home field continues to have no bearing in the World Series. Means nothing at all.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I believe you.
Both teams are 1-1 at home. What more evidence do you need?
You're just fun to poke.
And I will go back to 2019 forever, Brig.
You should.
The home team did not win a game in that series.
Yeah, you should. You should. And I will continue to give you opportunities to do just that.
And I appreciate that greatly. I truly do. Truly.
So let's talk about this combined no-no really quick, because I feel like it deserves a nod. So it began with Christian Javier. He went 6 innings. He threw 97 pitches over 6 innings and gave up. It was 2 walks. He walked 2 guys, got 9 strikes. That's good enough for a 0.71 ERA outing. It's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Brian Abreu comes in for an inning of relief. Doesn't get a hit. No walks, obviously. Rafael Montero, 1 inning of relief. Nothing happens. 1 strikeout each, a pair to Montero. Ryan Presley strikes out 1. The end. That's how they combine their no-no. Total pitches 141. 3 walks.
I think that's quite a bit still with a no-no. I mean, granted, there were 3 walks, so that's going to up your pitch count a little bit. Yeah. But 141 in a no-no is quite a bit, I feel like.
Yeah.
But speaking of upping your pitch count with things like walks, 14 strikeouts is going to do it.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, 14.
At least the Yankees didn't strike out 14 times against them, Brig.
Hey. No, we just struck out 11 times against the starting pitcher. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go.